Well, Kevin, we are live, my friend, and welcome to the show. We are addressing technical matters one at a time as they arise, and I do believe, oh, there we go. Okay.
All right, good to see you, Jason.
Good to see you, Kevin. You're looking well, and I just want to confirm that the Patreon stream is coming through. We're getting ready for our only on Patreon show in just 30 minutes from now. It's the intelligence assessment with Kevin Shipp. And of course, Kevin, as everybody knows, is the recovering CIA agent who has blown the whistle. He's written the book From the Company of Shadows, and you can purchase that book on his website, fortheloveoffreedom.net. I'm just verifying right now that this live stream is in fact going out to the Patreon page. The Patreon page to go to, of course, is going to be patreon.com/Kevin_Shipp with 2 P's, or patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth. You can get the exclusive live stream on either of those pages. And Vimeo has made a change to their streaming server just this week, so I want to make sure it's getting through. And I oddly am not seeing it. I don't understand why. I'm getting it on Vimeo, so that's good. Let's just make sure I haven't made any errors on my schedule. Well, maybe that's so strange. I thought I had made a post. That might be my error in that case. It's very, very weird. Anyway, Kevin, we'll make sure that it's going out on the Patreon page when it starts. I apologize to our viewers who are going to be irritated with me for that. Why don't you give us just a quick idea of what you will be discussing tonight? I am quite perplexed. I could have sworn that I did that. Anyway, sorry, Kevin.
Technical things strike again, as they always do.
It's astounding. It really is.
Tell you. Well, Jason, tonight we're going to talk about a real complex subject. I don't think a show like this has been aired before. We're going to discuss CIA's Project MK Ultra. How the program was formed and what it entailed. It was basically a CIA mind control program that involves some pretty nasty things. And we have a guest coming on, Carol Warner, who's an expert in that, and she counsels hundreds of people that have gone through mind control, satanic ritual abuse when they were kids and things. She's written a wonderful book I just read. It's fascinating. So we'll have her on as a guest once I do the introduction. I think it's going to be really fascinating. We're going to dig into this deep and take the risk to analyze this fully through and then address whether or not it's going on today.
And of course, you've told us in past shows, Kevin, that George H.W. Bush, our mutually admired least favorite, well, it's hard, it's just tough competition for least favorite president, but he certainly was a doozy.
Yeah, he's up at the top of the list, I think.
You've told me that he had publicly stated that the program had been shut down, but we have reason to believe that that may not have been true.
And we have a very good source, Victor Marchetti, who was a senior CIA officer, manager, said it had not been shut down, that it continued. And the shutdown claim was just a cover story, which that's important because Marchetti is a credible expert.
Wow. Wow. So that's a big deal, and obviously, you know, you've got access to incredible information, and your expertise as a former CIA agent is so valuable in terms of studying these things and understanding what they're all about. I definitely want to remind people that they should go onto patreon.com right now, and you can join. You could either sponsor Kevin by going to patreon.com/Kevin_Shipp, Kevin_Shipp, and of course we've got 2 P's in Shipp, so you're going to be able to enjoy our exclusive live streams on there, and you can communicate with Kevin. He has added Discord to his live streams, and people who aren't yet following Kevin on Twitter can also do that if you just go there. He is at Kevin_Shipp. You can also get tonight's broadcast, which is going to be coming on in just 25 minutes, by sponsoring Crowdsource the Truth. You can go to www.patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth for as little as $1 a month, and it's your choice if you're going to sponsor Kevin Shipp or Crowdsource the Truth, or both.
Or both, yeah.
Or both, yeah. It's more important than ever, Kevin, particularly now that we hear about Alex Jones being deplatformed. I was just on the phone with Lola, who people know from Twitter. She's been kicked off of Twitter. So, you know, these platforms that all seem free, we need to keep in mind that nothing is free. These guys are maintaining the very valuable control of what you can see. So if you want to take that control back, now is the time to get over to patreon.com and sponsor either Kevin or Crowdsource the Truth, or both. And, you know, it's also worth discussing, Kevin, we heard that Jihad Watch has been banned from Patreon. And from what I've heard, this is to do with MasterCard, not Patreon itself. The MasterCard Corporation insisted that Patreon eliminate Jihad Watch, and something that Charles Ortel and I have been discussing is, and the name of the guy escapes me at the moment, but there's an executive within MasterCard who's a major donor to the Clinton Foundation. And if people haven't seen the video that you and I created where you gave an amazing presentation there in Dallas, you basically eviscerated the Clinton Foundation, and I love that presentation so much because you come at it from a different angle than Charles Ortel, but nothing that you guys say is contradictory. It just complements and further expands the scope and understanding that people get of the intense criminal activity, alleged criminal activity, of the Clintons and their associates.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, pretty dark, and it's an international crime syndicate. I think there's no question about that.
Yeah. So people can enjoy tonight's presentation only on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Kevin_Shipp with 2 P's, or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, you can sponsor either of those channels on Patreon, and for as little as $1 per month, you're going to be getting exclusive access to live streams, including the intelligence assessment with Kevin Shipp. It's going to be starting in just 22 minutes. I definitely want to thank all of our generous Patreon sponsors. We could not continue this work without you. Kevin is not exactly a whistleblower, according to him. He's a recovering CIA agent, and we need to understand the tactics that agencies like the CIA use against people like Kevin. They are not yet protected by the sort of legal protections that we really need for whistleblowers, for those brave men and women in our law enforcement agencies and our clandestine agencies who stand up against corruption. Like Kevin, their lives are essentially destroyed. Kevin's family has been attacked. His son is still recovering from a chemical poisoning that he detected using black lights and an environmental test in his home. And of course, people can read all about it in Kevin's book, From the Company of Shadows, and you can purchase that book on Kevin's website, fortheloveoffreedom.net. So there's a lot of different ways you can support Kevin and his work. He has been fighting corruption and standing up against the criminal activities of the CIA at great peril to himself and his family and his financial well-being. So I definitely want to encourage people to purchase the book and to sponsor Kevin at patreon.com/Kevin_Shipp. We're going to be starting our show in just about 20 minutes. So with that, Kevin, is there anything you'd like to leave our viewers here on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook with before they make their way over to patreon.com/Kevin_Shipp or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth?
You bet, Jason. It's important that we've gone over to Patreon because we have stopped the trolls, YouTube, and others from shutting us down, especially some of the message on the Clinton syndicate that I've given. When we go over to Patreon, it makes it a lot more difficult, not impossible, but a lot more difficult for the trolls and the algorithms to get us, since there's now a payment firewall and it's just $1. That's the reason we're doing that, so that we can produce without being shut down. And it's very important. I understand the belly of the beast and how the CIA shadow government works. They threatened me with prison for 5 years, and I decided to come out, and we still face that risk publicly, and that's what's kept me safe. You, Jason, have put together a fantastic relationship between you and I on this channel, and we're going to get into stuff I think no one has seen before in a discussion like this. So I hope everybody joins up and joins us. I don't think they'll be disappointed.
And no one has been so far, Kevin. People have been sending me emails, universally positive. One of the most interesting, a friend of mine who is a Crowdsource community member and a guy that I've known since college, has told me that it's like a college level course in the operation of the CIA, information that you just aren't getting anywhere else. So definitely want to thank Kevin for joining me for this series. I want to thank all of our generous Patreon sponsors. I want to thank everyone for watching right now. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Patreon.